Hey everybody, this is Sanj, and for those of you tuning in for the first time, welcome to The Real Fan Review. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Listen to all our episodes on your favorite podcasting app, and make sure to like us and subscribe on YouTube so you can keep up to date with all the new episodes. If there's a topic you would like us to talk about, just let us know. Our email address is therealfanreview@gmail.com. Real is spelled R-E-E-L. Enjoy the show.
You're listening to The Real Fan Review with Hav, Sanj, Al, and B.
What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from The Real Fan Review. And today we have my boy Sanj with us.
Good evening, everyone. As always, it's a pleasure to be with you.
We got the man in the chair, Al, today.
How's it going, everybody?
We got no beat today, but it's all right. We'll make it up for him. I know he wanted to talk about Sonic, so this one goes out to B. So, listen, man, we all got a chance to go see this movie this week. I actually saw it this afternoon.
Okay.
I took a little time out from the kids. I think my wife took one of the kids to a party. Okay. I was like, I'm going to go check out Sonic. So I went to go see it. And I got to tell you guys, man, I loved it.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I
completely
freaking loved it. I can't believe that I loved this movie.
Yeah, it's definitely surprised me a lot more than I thought it was going to be.
Even more so, I love James Marsden
Dude,
in the movie.
We killed James Marsden all the time. Bitch, Cyclops.
Who knew?
Dude, he was so charming.
Oh, man.
Awesome, relatable.
Yeah. The only thing I wanted was in the beginning when they started showing all the Sega and everything, I wanted it to go, Sega.
Yes, that's the one thing that was missing there. Spoiler alert on that one. So anyway,
wait, what was he calling him? Donut Lord? Or Lord Donuts?
No, Donut Lord.
The Donut Lord, yeah.
All right, so we're going to go into a non-spoiler, really quick one, and then as you know, you hear us talking about it already. So we're going to get into into the spoiler one real quick. So just non-spoiler. Sanj, you go first, man. You saw it Tuesday with your boy.
Man, it was incredible. It was nostalgia again. We I took Sean, but we went with my cousins and their kids as well, and the kids had such a great time watching it. Most of them, they didn't even know who Sonic was outside of the context of the movie. Like they didn't understand like Sega, that it's a video game or anything. They're talking about little kids. But the adults, we had such a great time watching it.
That's awesome.
I say it. Go see it.
Go see it, right?
Yeah, go
Al,
see it.
how about yourself, man? I know you caught it this weekend.
Yeah, no, definitely the same thing. What I found funny about the experience was I took my daughter to see Frozen 2. And I remember how much she loved the first one. So I thought, okay, no brainer, take her to see Frozen 2. She had to leave the show. The movie didn't keep her attention enough to the point where 3 times during the movie she needed to leave to go to the bathroom.
Right.
We went to go see Sonic yesterday. She didn't leave the movie theater once. She watched the movie the entire time. She was turning to me to like look at the screen. Like, forget it.
Oh man,
she
awesome.
Was into the movie from the beginning to the end.
That's
and
amazing.
you know what's funny? You know how good the movie was? We haven't even mentioned Jim Carrey.
Oh, and he killed it.
Yes,
Jim Carrey's back.
In effect. And I was loving it.
Oh my God! So listen, from my aspect, again, I saw it today. I absolutely love this movie. I would say you should see it. Not need to see it, but you should. As a fan of Sonic, or even if you're not, if you have children, or if you used to play the games, and even if you didn't do any of that stuff, even if you don't have kids, you haven't enjoyed video
will be
games.
Entertained.
It is so entertaining, so good.
Yeah, definitely
funny. Oh my God! And if you're a Jim Carrey fan,
yeah,
and we haven't seen Jim Carrey like this in a while.
What was his last movie?
He's been trying to do more serious roles than comedic.
Yeah.
I don't know what his last movie. The last movie I saw him do personally was Say Yes, I think it was, or something about saying yes, where he personally made a choice to say yes to everything.
Because I'm thinking like the last thing.
Yes Man.
Yes Man. Yeah, and that
I'm
was
like the last thing I saw him in was like
2009.
Bruce Almighty or something like that.
Yeah, no, there was a couple movies after that, but they just didn't do as well as those like Liar Liars and all the other things stuff. But yeah, man, that Jim Carrey, seeing him in his glory, dude.
No, he Sonic the Hedgehog. Apparently, he was in another movie 4 years ago, Dark Crimes, The Bad Batch, and they did a sequel to Dumb and Dumber, but that was back in 2014.
That's right, Dumb and Dumber the sequel, and that wasn't good either. But he kind of disappeared for a while, man. But I gotta say, man, seeing Jim Carrey in this, we're gonna get into it now. But again, you heard all of us. So Sanj is saying, see it. Al saying,
see it. Oh
yeah,
no,
I'm saying you should see it also.
Even if you ain't got kids to take to see it, go see it. It's just fun.
It's a fun, great movie from beginning to end. And that's it, man, because I want to get into spoilers, man. All right, so you guys know how we do. We give you the count of 5 to pause us, come back to us. We're going to get into the Sonic the Hedgehog movie in 5,
4,
3,
2,
1.
Spoilers. How awesome was this? Yeah. This was really good.
It was like the video game Come Alive.
It was so good. I was so surprised because, video game movies just have this reputation of just like being shitty movies. Like they don't do well because they don't translate.
They end up being way too cheesy.
Because they either try too hard to stay like how exactly the video games were, or they do something so off the wall bonkers that's nothing to do with the video game that the fans don't like it. Yeah. And I felt like this
Assassin's Creed,
Mario Brothers. So with this one, with Sonic, I feel like they did a perfect blend. They gave you his backstory, they gave you the rings, they gave you his character, but then they put him in a situation here on Earth. So it wasn't truly the video game, and then really, how can you make that video game? It's just like I can't personally play the video game. It's too fucking fast for me. It's like playing F-Zero. You ever play F-Zero for Nintendo? I can't play that game. It's just too fast. I can't concentrate. So with Sonic the Hedgehog, I remember Brandon used to play it. Or I don't know if Eric used to play it. I know Brandon used to play it, and it's just ding 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 ding. The little bouncers, they're collecting the rings, and I just get so annoyed with the game. I just didn't bother with it. But in this movie, man, they made his like speed and him. Oh man, it was just such a good way of portraying Sonic and his speed. But you know what? Let's just get right into it. Sanj, your thoughts on? Let's start with Sonic himself. He at first the bad image that came out from the trailers, they took it back, they reworked on it, they made this Sonic the way that he looks now. What was your thoughts on Sonic?
I was very impressed with the CGI. The CGI Sonic that they had, they made him look like. Remember, there was also the first cartoon Sonic that came out. He reminded me of that Sonic a lot. Yeah, and it made it look really, really good. Right. The first when they've had that first trailer, the way it looked, oh my god, that
was a little scary.
Yeah, that was scary. I mean, he looked like faded pajamas, But this Sonic, the artwork on it was very, very good. Very, very. I don't want to say realistic because it's not realistic.
Right. You can definitely tell with CGI,
but it was believable. But they integrated it very well with the live actors as well. So it looked really awesome.
And how about Ben Schwartz doing the voice?
I thought it was believable. That's Sonic. It sounded like Sonic.
I hear you, man. And Al, man, for yourself, man, what is Sonic? How did it come off to you?
I'm glad they did the rework because realistically, if this was all they changed between last time they were going to release it and now, all they changed was redoing Sonic. Right. I'm glad they did. Yeah. Because I think it would just looking at how off he would have been would have taken away from a lot of the scenes.
Yeah. And the fact that Jim Carrey's performance was so good in it, it would have tainted the performance because all we would have been talking about was how bad Sonic looked, and it would have been a wasted performance by Jim Carrey.
So I'm glad they reworked it. More so for that sake than they were being loyal to the fans. I think it would have been a takeaway from a lot of the scenes.
I think it would have changed the way we thought about the movie. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm glad they did that. Everything else was good. The only thing was I like the guy who voiced him, Ben Schwartz. I don't know who he is, but I think he sounded great. but for a lot of the scenes, I just kept laughing because I kept hearing Ryan Reynolds. I don't know why. I guess because some of the humor was kind of along
because
the sarcasm.
Pokemon.
So now I kept hearing Ryan Reynolds' voice. I kept saying, "Oh, I wonder what this would have been like if Ryan Reynolds had done the voice."
Oh, forget it. It would have been Deadpool.
But that, I think that's why, because I kept seeing the same sense of humor in some scenes.
Absolutely.
But otherwise, yeah, overall it was real good.
Yeah, same for me, man. I love the humor from Sonic. I love the realness of him realizing that because he had to stay hidden, he was alone.
Yeah.
Which was one of the themes for this movie, was him being alone.
How sad was that though when he was like making up the stories, like he was inserting himself into everybody's life and everything.
He goes, they don't know that we're friends.
Yeah. I'm like, that's so sad. Like he just wanted to like reach out and hug Sonic.
Right. He saw Speed with them and he was like, yeah. Made me want to watch Speed again. But it was just awesome how they did this, man. And I just want, like, you know, if they ever come down the line and do a Mario Brothers, just to look at how they did this movie. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have to do exactly what Sonic did, but try to come into the same kind of like story or feel, at least. Because this Sonic was amazing. It was believable. I felt like, you know, I thought I was going to feel like, why is he here on Earth? But they explained everything. You know, I don't know. I don't remember the true origins of Sonic, but was that owl, I think it was Lockhart was the name of the owl in the beginning. Is that really part of the Sonic stuff, or?
I don't know.
Right? I don't know Sonic like that. Because again,
I don't know that they gave Sonic a backstory like that in the like,
I feel there's
that
so
deep
much
in the video
Sonic
games.
stuff because they had Sonic cartoons. They had like God knows how many Sonic the Hedgehog games and stuff. So who knows? But even like the lore that they gave in the beginning was almost like how Superman began. You know, in the beginning of Superman, it was like its own story, his own tale.
Yeah.
And you saw how his cockiness caused something to happen, basically. You know, and it was amazing. But the story with Sonic and Sonic himself, again, his CGI was awesome. I thought it was believable as far as like, this is what Sonic looks like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Not believable like that's what a hedgehog would look like.
And then how it was funny in the movie when James Marsden character, who he was calling Donut Lord, right? Says to him, "What are you?" He's like, "I'm a hedgehog, dude. Like,
Isn't
can't
it
you
obvious?
see? Isn't it obvious?"
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you talk about Ben Schwartz. I found out over the weekend that, you know, small world, he's a friend of a friend's nephew.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, maybe one day we'll get him on the podcast and talk about Sonic.
We're gonna try.
But you know, as far as Sonic goes, one of the things that made me laugh from the beginning was there's a scene where James Marsden is basically patrolling the highway just to catch anyone speeding, and there's a turtle that's about to get hit by a car, and Sonic picks him up and saves him
before
right
that.
before.
No, before that.
Well, before that,
When the
James
turtle's-
Marsden.
Yeah, when the turtle's going across the street, and like
He clocked him at 1?
He clocked him at like
0.01.
1, and he's just like, "Slow down!"
Wait, but how about when Sonic picks him up and starts running and then he puts him down
He's like,
and the turtle's shaking? Dude, the way the turtle was like, I was like, okay, I know what I'm in for now.
You guys can't see it, but Hav just did a perfect reenactment of the turtle, like how he was vibrating.
Dude, it was so funny. And right there, I was just like, okay, I know what we in for. This is going to be funny. Oh, man. So that we brought up James Marsden. So let's get into Cyclops here. Cyclops did his damn thing in this movie.
So, you know, I think we all owe him a big apology because
pulled it off.
He pulled it off.
Leading actor.
Leading man. And, you know, really bringing it home. He really brought it home with this movie.
Because it took a lot for this movie to work. You're going to need someone like that to bring it in. And he did his thing as the everyday, I guess, cop from a small town.
Right.
yeah.
You know
who
what I mean?
wanted to be something more.
Right?
Yeah.
And you could see, like, you wanted to be his friend. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I'm like, this guy's
he
a
was
cool
such a
guy.
good guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just a genuinely good guy. Like, yeah, you want to know this guy. You want to be his friend. You know, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. And him and the relationship with was it his wife in the movie?
Yes.
Or?
Yeah, they're married.
Yeah,
They're married.
in the
Okay,
movie.
because
She plays a
I
veterinarian. Yep.
You remember because the wife's sister kept telling her, leave him, divorce him. She
TIVOR.
So Tika Sumpter, who played the
Maddie.
She played Maddie, the wife. She's also the lead character in Mixed-ish. It's a show on TV, which is a spinoff of Blackish. right? So funny enough, the woman who played, so in that movie, she's a black woman married to a white man,
Right.
as well, right? Also played by Mark, and the husband in that show is Mark Paul Gosselaar. And it took me like a few episodes. I'm like, holy shit, it's Zach Morris. But anyway, so, and the woman who plays her sister in that show was the same woman that played her sister in Sonic, and she's always trying to like tell her to leave him, and he ain't no good. And this, so it was funny to see, like, she's basically playing the same exact character in a different movie. It's hilarious. I mean, it was just all those things, like, you know, tied into the movie, made it so good. There were familiar things that made you laugh.
Definitely, man. And you know, I hope one day we get to the point where it doesn't have to be mentioned, but how beautiful was their relationship in the movie?
Oh, it was wonderful.
From the beginning of the movie, the back and forth and the talking, the conversations, the love that you felt. It's just beautiful, man. And I'm glad that they did it. And I'm glad it's becoming the norm. Rather than this, like, oh my God,
it's a thing. It's not.
Yeah, it's not a thing. It's just love.
You look at it and you're just like, all right, that's like what we.
And I just thought it was beautiful, man.
And what I liked was that at no point did they reference it in the movie.
Exactly, not needed.
Yeah,
it wasn't needed because there was what did it matter for anything?
Right.
You know? So I thought that was a good touch because I was waiting for the joke or the comment or the reference, and it never came. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm glad that never came.
Yeah, man. It's just, I feel like the world's kind of changing. I thought it changed, and then I realized it didn't. But now it feels like we're growing up.
Yeah,
this country's growing up a little bit.
The changes, you know, it's been happening.
Yeah,
you know, maybe not at the rate that we thought because you know where we live and what we're exposed to. I mean, for me it's cool because then my kids have something to look at and be like, oh, they look like us.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like, that's a family that looks like our family. Like, you know what I mean? So
exactly, man. But back to like James Marsden. Al, any thoughts on James Marsden's character for yourself, man?
No, I thought he did. Like I said, I thought he did a great job playing the small town cop who wanted to be something better. I think he even says it in the movie. He just wanted somebody to turn to him and say, like, help me or whatever.
He wanted to save
it's a matter of life and death,
and
I need you.
Yeah, exactly. So, and he got that.
And it was funny how they set that up in the movie. Like he said that, but then when Sonic turned to him and said, he's like, oh, you know, it got you in the feels, like, you know, like, and he totally sold it because usually the actors, when they're playing off another actor in situations like that, they have another body or another person to look at and get their energy, and they're playing the scene together.
Right.
He's not looking at anything. Remember, Sonic gets CGI'd in later, so someone's feeding him the line.
Because
like,
Marsden is an actor.
He's an actor.
Okay.
He's master of his
cinema.
craft.
Cinema.
Right? Cinema.
Film.
No, it's funny. I visited with some friends over the weekend from college. And because I hadn't seen them in a while, so we had made it a point to put it on the calendar to get together. We went up north and everything to see them, and a bunch of what I didn't know, my friend that I went to see, he had called a bunch of our friends, and they all showed up just to hang out because we and whatnot. So when we started talking about we're catching up, what are we doing? I started telling them about the podcast and everything. So they started asking me stuff about movies, and I'm like, holy shit, like they want to hear what I have to say. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right.
And like a lot of my friends are like, very, very well-to-do, very professional people, like leaders in their field and stuff like that. But so they started you talk about, I know the joke that you're making when you're talking about film. You're talking about So they started asking me how I felt about all that stuff. So we started talking about it, and then we got into those conversations about like what's film, what's cinema, how do we feel about this, how do we feel about that. So that was really cool.
Oh, good, man. Now let's get into the scene stealer, The Mask, Jim Carrey,
Dr. Robotnik,
Eggman.
So
he stole
from
the movie.
He showed up. The moment he showed up, it was his movie.
Dude, the way he spoke, his
nobody cares. What's your name? Nobody cares.
Nobody cares about your life accomplishments.
I did that when I was an infant.
Oh my God.
I'm sure your mother's proud of you. I'm not.
Oh my God. How good was it to see Jim Carrey this way? Over the top.
It's vintage Jim Carrey.
Dude, and it was it was almost like I missed this guy.
Yeah.
When he was dancing in his truck to the bad guy music, to the evil track.
Yeah. I'm the bad guy.
When he was fake skiing. When he was fake running away from a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Or when he bit his head. Yeah.
When he put his coat out that formed an E for evil. Jim Carrey stole this damn movie from the minute he walked out of that truck.
He just has a command of comedy, of moments, of action. He just has a command. He's a genius. The man is a genius.
Because they didn't tell him to do all that.
No,
that's him.
They're just like, could you just do what you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he ad-libbed a good portion of that.
All
movie.
of it. I would be pretty
come
sure he
on.
ad-libbed
Yeah.
all of it. They just like.
How do you write that? How do you write for him to act like that, dude?
You just write in, do Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Dude, remember when he walked past his like henchman that was helping him? He walked past him, he goes, you left yourself open, and like hit him in the stomach or something. He's like, whoa.
Oh no. Yo, he choked him in the throat.
He goes, wait, in the scene that he was dancing, the lights had kind of gone dim for a second, and his henchman came up like dancing behind him and had lattes. He was scared of him. He goes, what? He goes, would you like a latte? You're so stupid. Of course I like lattes, and the way you make them.
Agent Stone, doctor. Agent Stone, tell me you thought about driving off after them. No, doctor, I came. No, Agent Stone.
Al, what'd you think of even when Dr. Robotnik first walks up to James Marsden's character in the movie trying to find Sonic in his house? Mm-hmm. Just even the interaction between those two, man, and throughout the movie.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. It was good because you saw an over-the-top character being balanced out by someone who was trying to play the character straight. So it was good to see that mix because of how they would interact and who would win, what would take over the scene. And I thought they both held their characters well, and it showed the difference. And
I don't think I could have stood up opposite Jim Carrey and not
I'm
cracked
sure
up
if there's a ton of
I
outtakes.
need to see the outtakes
I'm
of this
sure.
thing. This is going to be hilarious, man. I mean, I personally I love seeing Dr. Robotnik on the screen and James Marsden with Sonic. And a lot of scenes, like I was saying in the beginning, the movie had heart, man. Because even when they came up with the whole thing about the bucket list,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I felt bad for Sonic. I was like,
He had
damn.
never done anything.
No, and not only that, the one of the bucket lists was to make a friend.
Dude,
Yeah.
come on.
He's like, now we're besties. He's like, not besties.
Best animal friend?
Best-
Wait, how about when Sonic farted? He goes, check your fur. You need to check your fur on that one, Sonic.
Believe it or not, I used that line this weekend.
That's awesome.
Because of Sonic, I used that line. So somebody ripped it, and I'm like, oh, man, you better check your fur on that one.
Awesome, man. And you know what, man? The scene at the bar with them, I thought it was a little bit outlandish, but it worked, right? Because
it was hilarious.
right, it was in the end. It was hilarious because I'm like, he's telling him to stay in the car. Clearly, he's not going to stay in the car.
Yeah.
So predictable,
Right.
but so worth it. Now, I mean, is it fairly obvious to say that they got their scene idea from the X-Men?
Oh, the Quicksilver? Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, so remember the Matrix when Neo, they shot bullets at him and he leaned back and they did the slow motion. You see the ripples of the sound waves that the bullets were creating, and then they pan around and everything. And then everybody started doing that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So certain times they'll do a scene in a movie and it's like, wow, we've never seen that type of cinematography before. And then it becomes the standard for doing a certain type of scene.
Right.
I think once the X-Men did that kind of slow motion fast scene, because it's really not a slow motion scene.
Right.
It's a scene depicting speed, but from the perspective of
that person,
the person who can go at the super speed, right? once they did that, that became the standard for how that type of scene should be shot.
Right.
So I don't think they necessarily stole it, as X-Men set the X-Men director that did that set the standard, or set the
it just made sense to do it that
right,
way. Yeah.
right. That becomes now the standard for how that scene is shot.
Yeah, man.
And I like that they didn't take them, again, go too serious or whatever, or copy too much. I like the fact that they had him take the guy's underwear to do the wedgie by sticking it on the thing, and like it stayed in they never left character, even though they were stealing like a scene from somewhere else.
Right.
They didn't. Yeah, they stayed within their universe.
Yeah, man. And it was just overall just amazing, that scene, the bar scene, because you got the feels, you got the laughs, and you just saw craziness on the screen. You know what I mean? So it was just amazing to see that. Now, with the movie also, there was a lot of CGI in the movie, a lot of Dr. Robotnik's robots and stuff like that. There's a lot of talk on the internet that the CGI didn't look good. I'm sorry. I saw the movie. Yeah, there were certain scenes that didn't look that real, but for the most part, I thought the whole thing was pretty good as far as CGI
was just fine.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
It
what
never
the big
took
deal
me out
was.
of it. I never thought, oh, that's CG. Like,
Yeah.
no, I thought they did.
None
a
of
good
it
job.
looked like Terminator 2, looked like metal plates stuck to the vest,
Yeah.
depicting bullet wounds.
Little cones on the vest.
Even those drones looked real to
Exactly.
They look like, honestly, to me, they
Yeah.
look like the drones from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Far From Home.
me.
They
Yeah.
did kind of look like that, man. I don't know, man. The overall, the movie, it was just great. So let's talk about the story itself, the story of him having a friend or finding a friend or being alone and, finding family almost at the end of this movie. The theme worked for you as far as the story goes?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you figure, most people don't know the character.
Right.
Kids nowadays, if they're selling it as a kid's movie, right? A lot of kids don't know the character like that. We know it, but it was a great way to introduce the character to a new generation of moviegoers.
Right.
And then set it up for subsequent movies. Like, I could see them easily getting 3-4 movies out of this.
Right.
Easily.
Yeah, especially with the way they left it off at the end. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about that right after this. So, Al, what about your story, man? What do you think?
No, it was a good story, like
Beginning
especially
and
for
end, yeah.
something like a video game, where the video game really never was about a story. It was just about playing different levels. I thought it was a good story to give him. Like, okay, he had this ability that everybody was after, so the person who was protecting him saved him by sending him on his way, and gave him ways to get to different worlds to seek safety. But after years of being on the run and staying away, after a while, he said, like, either he's going crazy or he needs people.
Right.
And he found that family. Like, it was fake, it was imaginary at first, but then circumstances caused it to become reality. And I thought it was a great story. Like, and to your point, to bring in kids because it's more of a kids type movie. I thought it was a great way of stressing family, friends, and that bond over anything else.
Yeah, man. I thought the story was fantastic. It sealed the deal at the end when James Marsden was like, "That's my best friend," or "That's my friend."
Right.
And you see Sonic wake up. And think they used Sonic great. He wasn't overpowered. And like some of the things like they did with the movie was that made sense to me was like, Sonic was super fast and could get anywhere. But he didn't know how to get to San Francisco because he never been there.
He James Marsden, it's that way.
Go west.
East, go west. Yeah, go west. And Sonic runs off. He's like, all right. And then they have this like sort of emotional goodbye. And then like 10 seconds later, he's back. He's like, I don't know where San Francisco is.
And there's a fish on my head.
I'm all wet. I'm cold. There's a fish on my head. I need help.
Yeah, man.
James
Story was
Marsden's like,
fantastic, man.
Fine, I'll take you to San Francisco.
Now, man, let's talk about. She was going to talk about the ending. If you stay till after the credits, there was like a mid-credits thing, and it was our boy. Well, first of all, they showed Sputnik in this mushroom world.
Robotnik?
Yeah.
Oh, What's Sputnik? Sputnik's an astronaut.
The Russian
Sputnik
satellite.
was the
Spot.
first satellite that mankind put into space, launched by the Russians.
Too close for call. Yeah, Dr. Robotnik is in this
Mushroom
fungi world, mushroom world. Shots at Super Mario Brothers.
Shots at Super Mario Brothers.
And that's like no way that's
Shots fired. Bang, bang.
He said, "This mushroom world. No one wants to go to this mushroom world."
Man down. Man down.
Wait, Al's usually the one that's like, "Oh, that's definitely a shot."
Oh, yeah. Honestly, until you said it just now, I didn't put it together. But
Really?
he's like, no, but I
he's like,
definitely
it's just
agree.
mushrooms. There's nothing but
No,
mushrooms.
but I definitely agree now because when they did that pan out shot, you see the levels, the stages that lead to one
It's
another.
mushroom
I was
upon
like, oh, yeah,
mushroom
yeah.
upon mushroom.
And then there was a jab because most men would stay here the rest of their lives. I will be out of here
In 6 months. He's like, I'll be home by Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that was cool.
Yeah. Definitely
Now
a
I
shot
get
at-
it definitely what they were going at with that one.
All right, cool. So then we have that, and then
We're waiting for the response from Nintendo.
You're on notice,
It
24
may
hours.
be a while.
Rap battle rules.
Oh man, I want to dance battle rules.
Oh, there you go. So now there was another scene which is showing Sonic's pal Tails.
Yes, like looking for him. Like, oh, I found him. But I still, even in that scene with Robotnik in
Go for
the
it.
Mushroom World, he had Agent Stone with him, but it was an actual stone. I don't know why. I just thought that was so hilarious.
Do some reconnaissance. I can't believe you're laughing at that shit.
But again, Jim Carrey. Only Jim Carrey could do it. And then you're like, this is hilarious.
Reconnaissance.
Reconnaissance. And then, but the way he throws the rock, and it's just everything about how he does it. He's like, it's like,
Amazing, man.
like how he like throws the rock, but then holds the pose for a little bit. You know?
Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's back.
Jim Carrey is
Jim
back.
Carrey's back. Al, man, your thoughts on the two endings there, man?
I like that they brought Robotnik's his look because the look
crazy
that they
mustache,
yeah, because the look they had in the beginning was a little off, but cool, it worked.
Yeah.
But then they went back to his actual look from the video games. And then I thought it was interesting bringing in Tails. It lets you know there's going to be a sequel.
I hope there is, man. I really do.
And
Yeah.
now they'll really bring in his backstory, which is good. Like you didn't go too much into the
Right.
backstory. You just this is what's happening to him now.
They teased at it, like
Yeah.
with like the Speed Force and everything.
Yeah.
Because it's not just him going fast. Like when he goes to a certain point, like you see, he's able to tap in. Like the Flash is able to tap into like this power.
Yeah.
You know, and you see it. It gives off this EMP that freaking knocked out half of the country.
Yeah.
You know.
And then you bring in Tails with the, and it was funny because I don't even know the character. Even my daughter had to tell me.
Yeah.
She said, oh, that's Tails.
I knew
had
who
no
he
idea
was,
who
but I don't know anything about Tails. How he sounds, what he's supposed to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So I mean, like overall, final reviews, everything on this, man. For me, it's a you should see because I really did enjoy it. I'm almost ready to say you need to see this just for Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
But it's I know a lot of movie people are you know they're I guess particular with their movies. But I do feel like you should see this movie, honestly. It's a really good time. It's funny. If you, again, Jim Carrey, I can't say anymore, but it's Jim Carrey, man. Just say his name, Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Signs for yourself.
Go see it in theater.
Yeah.
To me, this is a theater see.
Yeah, I'm almost ready to see it again. You know that?
Yeah.
I almost want to see it again in the
I want to
theaters.
see. I want to see that Jim Carrey dance again.
Yeah. No,
that whole thing made it worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Nah, it's definitely a go see in the theater and
Yeah.
everything. Take your kids, or even just go yourself if you're even slightly into movies or video games. I think this is one of the best video game movies adaptations, even more so than Mortal Kombat,
Yeah.
which for the longest time, I mean, even to this day, that was my favorite movie from a video game.
All right.
But you see, that one was a little bit more like serious, like gory. Like you can't take the kids to see that.
No.
No.
that's not.
But it stood that one.
As far as video games,
But it stood true to the game.
Yeah.
Without going, I mean, it's over the top considering the context of Mortal Kombat, but it stood true to the game without going too serious about the
Yeah.
game. And I thought that's exactly what Sonic did. So it went into the video game, but it took the humor of the game and what that kind of a personality probably would be like, which
Yeah.
is fast paced all over the place. You know, you can't,
Dude, him playing baseball against himself was kind of crazy. He was the pitcher, catcher,
The
ump, batter, outfielder that was crazy.
And third base coach.
Go! Oh man, but you know what? That leads us into our perfect segue, man, into the next part of this podcast, which is because we're talking about Sonic. You know, Al kind of mentioned it already. We're gonna go into these video game adaptations real quick and just talk about some of our favorites, some of the bad, some of the good, and also what's coming to see maybe something that'll hopefully do as good as Sonic will. I'm really got my fingers crossed that Sonic does really great because it was a good movie, but you know, there's a lot of video game adaptations that came out in the last, 15, 20 years. Some of them okay. I think maybe one or two were really good, and then the rest have been just complete and utter trash.
Street Fighter.
Oh shots fired.
Man down.
The Legend of Chun-Li.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
I couldn't even make it through that movie.
Dude, I think I did the same. I think I stopped at a certain point. Like, I'm not doing this.
No.
That's not Chun-Li. But anyway, let's go through a list of a couple of these movies, and we'll go and, we'll choose our favorites and some of the worst ones and make some
Freaking
jokes.
Van Damme drunk all the way through the other Street Fighter movies. Jesus Christ. Visibly drunk.
So let's see. I'll throw it out there and let's see what we say. What did you guys think of the Resident Evil franchise?
As a video game, the first few games were pretty good.
No, as the movies. Movies.
Pretty. It was okay.
Yeah.
Right. I like the first one, and I think the not the last one, the second to last one.
The look was
okay.
good. The story was weak.
I think they just lost themselves because it really had nothing to do with the video games, but at the same time, it was cool. I guess you had a couple of the zombies on there.
I think for that type of movie, Silent Hill did better.
Right.
That was a good.
That I've never seen. I've never seen the Silent Hill.
Like see that
movie?
one. See that one because
It's gotta
Resident
go on the
Evil and
list.
Silent Hill have similarities to them.
Yeah, similar themes. Yeah.
But the Silent Hill movie was a lot better than the Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You can enjoy that one without having even played the game.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Mario Brothers when they finally came out
Jesus.
with John Leguizamo
Yeah.
as Luigi?
For the time period, though, it was kind of awesome to have the video game made into a movie. Looking back at it now, it's like that's a pretty shitty movie. But it's more of like one of those movies that kind of would have a cult following.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you look at it, it's like it shouldn't be good, but like you want to watch it again and again because
it's Mario Brothers.
Yeah, because it's Mario Brothers.
I just felt like the whole the Wampas with the small heads.
Yeah,
what the hell was that?
I didn't understand that part.
Like
That was just forcing them into the movie because they were in the game.
And the super boots to explain their jumping, like I get it, and you want to explain how they could jump so high and all that stuff like that. I just think that there's something either better you can do or keep it animated, bro. I don't think you can do a real world Mario Brothers. Just keep it animated, Look at what the minions are doing out there, killing it.
Or like it would have to be where like two guys from our universe get sucked into an alternate universe or something like that. That you would have to do it that way, and then because then you suspend the rules of physics and whatnot in another universe or anything like that. But I mean, they could definitely do something with Mario Brothers.
Are you guys wanting to see Mario Brothers not after seeing Sonic done this way, or like would you want just a completed animated kind of thing?
I think there's other video games that I like. What I want to see after seeing Sonic is Castlevania.
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's not going to be like Sonic in the sense it's not going to be
like
hokey and it's not going to be funny and cartoonish. And
I would want a real world
Castlevania.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I thought that you might get that with when they had that whole run when they were doing lots of vampire stuff, lots of werewolf stuff. I thought that might be the right time to try to throw Castlevania out there, but it didn't come through in that. But there's a lot of story there with Castlevania that you could tap into.
The Belmonts,
even like Dracula and Alucard from the Symphony of the Night Castlevania story. That was such a great video game and such a great story.
I think Netflix did something with Castlevania where but it was all animated.
Cartoon,
all cartoons. What about you guys think of Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie? Was the first Tomb Raider. She did like one or two movies, I think.
Yeah, two, I think.
And then there was one that came out like last year that was pretty good.
That one I liked a lot better than the Angelina Jolie versions.
Yeah, I remember the first one.
It was more realistic. It was like the Angelina Jolie, it felt like they were trying to be too true to the character from the game.
Yeah.
Whereas the new one that just came out, I felt that was more as to what that character would have been like in real life.
Gotcha.
So.
And how about you, Sanjay? Any thoughts on Tomb Raider?
Tomb Raider was good, but I mean, just to, like I was saying, like the character in the video game is like, you know, it's pretty voluptuous to begin with, right? And Angelina Jolie, you know, she's, you know, a pretty well put together woman as well. But then they still enhanced her as well.
They did? I don't remember.
Yeah, they did. I think they were saying like they gave her like padding as well, chest padding.
Oh, wow.
To even further enhance.
Ah.
You know what I'm like? She's already like, you know, pretty, you know.
Yeah.
But so that like I was saying, like they went too much into trying to like make it like out of the ordinary.
Just like the game.
But the story I thought was pretty good.
The first one, I remember the story being interesting. I know it wasn't like, you know, widely accepted and treated like it was awesome, but I know I kind of enjoyed the first one a little bit more than the second one. Mm-hmm. But from my understanding, the one that came out last year, I forgot the actress that plays the Tomb Raider girl in the last one, but I heard she did really good. I heard they made it more
Alicia Vikander or something like
Vanderkamp or something like that.
Yeah. She did real good. That's what I'm saying. Like they really made it like what Lara Croft in real life, like
that was her name. I couldn't remember the character's name, Lara Croft.
Yeah. So that was like a good adaptation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like another one that I didn't see, which I heard was okay also, was World of Warcraft. Any of you guys get to catch that one?
No, I did not.
It was just something that didn't appeal to me. So.
Yeah, no, it was all right, but I was never into the game, so I don't know how true to the game, how true. Yeah. No idea.
I got you. Classic. Al said it, man. Mortal Kombat, man. That was up there as one of the best.
I like those
video game adaptations from the beginning. Mm-hmm. I still remember to this day. That was my first midnight showing movie.
Oh yeah.
And I remember going to the theater, and I think I almost had to sit in the aisle.
Oh yeah, no, it was full. I was working at the movie theater over in Roosevelt Field when it came out, and when we did the midnight showing, and when the theater went dark, and the first things that they played were Mortal, forget it.
The crowd lost.
You almost couldn't hear the music because of everybody just cheering. So it was definitely a great experience watching that, and I don't know if that's what's clouding my opinion.
Right? Me too. Because when Scorpion and Sub-Zero walked out from the sides, the whole crowd, oh shit! I mean, granted, I didn't like the whole like Scorpion animal coming out of the spear, but it still was. It was Scorpion with the white eyes.
And you hear him go, "Get over here!" and all that.
Oh, forget it. Now, am I wrong in thinking this? Did the music for Mortal Kombat come out from the movie, or did it come from the games? Mortal Kombat.
No, that came from the video game. That came from the video game.
That was the movie. I don't remember that. No, I think that was the movie.
That was the movie that came out?
I don't remember that in the game.
I want to say I heard that in the game.
Really?
I think they added it to the game afterwards, but...
I may have to go... Yeah, we may have to go play a classic version of the game because...
When I hear that shit still... Fight. You know?
Yeah. Round one.
Oh, my
Fight.
God, man. And you know what's crazy, man? That game was just like... crazy. I remember the first time I saw that game, it was in the Roosevelt Field Mall. They had a little arcade in the first floor.
Yep.
And I had seen all these people lined up, and I just remember hearing everybody lose their freaking mind because Johnny Cage just knocked somebody's head off.
Oh, yeah, when you were able to pull out the head with the spine.
Oh, my goodness. So when that movie came out, by then the fandom had grown huge. I think Mortal Kombat 2 had came out already by that time. Yeah. And forget it, man. I just remember the whole theater losing their mind. I remember rewatching it at home and thinking like, all right, it's not that good, but it's still good. It's still good, you know? So, Mortal Kombat's classic. You know, they're making another one.
Okay.
They're going to try to bring it back out. I think they're working on the movie now, or they're doing the script now. Something like that. It's one of the guys from who did Aquaman, the actor, the director who did Aquaman. It's his kind of like his crew or his friends. They're doing it. They're setting it up right now. And that guy's like a horror director also. I forgot his name, but he's the one who did Aquaman. But Mortal Kombat, man. But then Mortal Kombat also gave us Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which was goddamn trash, bro. Dude, Ermac looked like he was wearing pajamas. Yeah, no.
No, it was
Annihilation was so bad, dude. It was so bad. Do you know who the
James Wan is
James
the director.
Wan? Yeah, he's helping with the Mortal Kombat there.
Yeah.
Sanj, we're gonna get to one of your favorite games, man. Street Fighter.
Those were such great games. And that's what I have to say about the movies. Yo, you don't remember when we used to go to Shoppers Village, and then there was that bodega that we used to stop at and play Street Fighter for hours.
Yeah, man.
And we would just play, and your dad would just sit in the car and wait for us, bro.
Dude, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I remember when Starlight Deli finally got the.
That was the bodega,
that was the bodega,
right there.
Starlight Deli.
Yeah.
I remember the name because of Street Fighter.
Right. I remember the line, like on Friday nights for everybody, like just to play Street
Hey, dude,
Fighter.
it wasn't in the deli. They had like a little hut outside of the deli, and that's where the game was.
Yeah. But I mean, if you think about it from a business sense, right? It was a great business decision on their part, because you got a bunch of teenage boys standing online playing video games. They're gonna come in for snacks, juice, sodas, everything. They were milking us for money. You know?
Now, ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, Street Fighter. The best part of Street Fighter was Van Damme dressed up as Guile, but the guy who played Bison,
Raul Julia.
oh, dude, yeah,
Yeah.
he looked like Bison, man. He did look like Bison.
Yeah, but the movie was done so hokey, and like
And he was,
it comes
I
out
think-
later, like Van Damme was high like the whole time. Like he said it himself, like he was struggling with like addiction and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and he was visible in his performance. That's why it sucked.
Oh man, that movie was bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty bad. I had high hopes for Street Fighter because of Mortal Kombat. So
No, and then the thing was, you put Jean-Claude Van Damme as the main lead. Okay, great. He can
looks
fight.
like Guile,
Yeah, he can fight.
and he can
But
fight.
then you put him around a bunch of actors who
Can't
fight.
fight.
Like
Yeah.
it took away from all of the fights.
Like you needed to have like Dolph Lundgren in there as well. Like you could have easily paid Dolph.
if they had A-listed that whole thing,
right. They
that would
could
have been
at that
probably
time.
better.
You make Dolph Lundgren Bison. It's believable,
Uh-huh.
right? Little makeup, whatnot.
Yeah.
You got other people that could fight, that could play those other characters.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, man. So let's see. What about the Hitman series? Hitman is the Agent 47.
There was not the first one. There was a second one that they made that I liked.
Yeah,
There was two versions that they made of the movie.
I think Agent 47 is the one that you probably liked.
Maybe.
Because
Yeah.
Hitman was the first one that came out that, and I don't think they did too well. But Agent 47, that came out maybe about 5 years ago.
Yeah. No more.
More than 5?
2007,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Jesus.
Where they show that he's a clone and they go. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So that was another one. Now, Sanj, I heard you boo Assassin's Creed. I didn't see it, but...
I like the video games
Mhm.
a lot. Like I played a few of the video games, and it did stick to it in the sense that it's this corporation trying to plug into people to to basically do archaeology. Like they were looking for hints to the past and like through people's memory and things like that.
Right.
And you could plug in and play scenarios from different time periods and everything. It's just like I couldn't get through the movie.
Yeah.
Like, just
It was
couldn't.
just bad.
Yeah.
And freaking Fassbender, man.
You would think, right?
A national treasure.
You would think.
How about Doom with The Rock?
I didn't see it.
I remember,
actually pretty.
I liked it. I remember it being cheesy.
I was just gonna say I don't remember it, but I remember liking it for
Yeah.
some reason.
I remember because The Rock was so extra in that movie. He was saying a bunch of one-liners the entire thing, which is The Rock's thing. But
Yeah.
speaking of The Rock, how about Rampage, man?
Liked it.
I didn't like Rampage, but
No.
I watched the whole thing and it was cool, but I didn't like Rampage too much.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Oh,
No,
yeah?
I for some reason I liked it.
Detective Pokemon.
Oh, we loved it.
I fell asleep during Detective Pokemon. I didn't like it too much, but you guys did.
Oh, Ryan
Oh, I
Reynolds,
forgot.
bro.
Yeah, that was the whole movie right there.
Yeah, a sacrilegious Prince of Persia. Yeah,
Great video games. And
fantastic
honestly,
video games.
I didn't actually think that the story on Prince of Persia the movie was that bad. I got hung up on Jake Gyllenhaal playing the prince.
I think everybody who plays the games kind of did also. You know, it's one of the first things that was said is like, how you have Jake Gyllenhaal as the Prince of Persia, but
I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
a bad. I won't say it was a bad movie. It was a good movie.
It was
right.
the casting that messed
Yeah.
it up. Yeah.
And I'm a Jake Gyllenhaal fan. I like Jake Gyllenhaal a lot. It's just that it matters to me when ethnicity of the actor when it matters to the character. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no sense in that. But yeah, those are pretty much it, and that's what we said. I mean, those are the movies that came out that were movie related. There's a bunch more, but these are the ones that stood out to me that I saw, that were movies that came out within the last like 20 years or so. But as you saw, as we go on through the list here, it's not a lot of good ones, right? A lot of like, okay, but we got the classic Mortal Kombat. Al said he likes one of the Agent 47 movies. Yeah. But like after seeing this Sonic, is there a movie? Because I know you said, I think one of you guys said Castlevania. Sonic said you wanted Castlevania. Are there any other movies after seeing Sonic that you want to see done now because of the way Sonic handled it, and just having hope that these people are writing scripts that are better now? The visual effects now are a lot better. Is there anything that stands out for you guys that you would want to see done?
Star Fox.
Star Fox. Wow. Okay. Going to space.
Because I mean, just
peppy.
just from seeing how well they did with Rocket Raccoon.
Uh-huh.
Star Fox is a natural extension of that.
Man, I didn't even think about Star Fox, man.
If they can somehow compress the story into a 2-hour movie or less, Zelda.
Yes.
I would like to see a Zelda.
I think they could do a Zelda like almost
movie.
like a Lord of the Rings type of thing, man. Trying to find everything, not necessarily hunting for weapons, but
and they can make it not as comical. They could make it like a serious adaptation.
Absolutely, The Legend of Zelda, man. That would be amazing.
if you guys watch on Netflix, The Witcher,
right?
Well, if you get a chance to watch some of that, tell me what you think about it, and then we could revisit like the Legend of Zelda type. Like I would like if they were gonna do Zelda.
Yeah, well, The Witcher is a video game.
Yeah,
video game. Yeah.
But I would want to see Legend of Zelda like in that tone, not comical, not hokey, but like more like that, because they really set it in a world of like magic and medieval, but like the magic doesn't overpower what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It isn't all about the magic and whatnot. Like magic exists, but like it's still a human type story.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a part of the story. It doesn't become the story.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And I feel like to do Legend of Zelda right, that it has to have that kind of feel to it.
Yeah, I would want to see a Legend of Zelda kind of movie with Link and everything.
Yeah.
In the same aspect of like Nintendo and Sega stuff, I saw the logo I saw the game with the Sega logo today in the Sonic movie, Golden Axe.
Yes.
What? The dwarf, the barbarian, and was it a wizard? No, it wasn't a wizard. It was a elf.
A wizard, an elf,
barbarian, and like a knight type.
Yes, there was a knight.
Right.
Or was that another?
I don't know, but it's almost like Gauntlet, but Golden Axe was the 3 characters, just going around headbutting the people with the butt of the weapons, just bonk. And you could ride on different animals and all that stuff like that. That game was funny, man.
Yeah.
So not necessarily play-by-play of the game, but with those characters in a different time period.
Yeah.
Metroid in space, I think Metroid would be awesome.
another
I have one for you. Mega Man.
How would you pull that off?
Because
same kind of thing, right?
Same kind of thing with the backstory of like him building Mega Man and everything. Like you could do a lot with that, and you could really modernize. You could give that a really modern look.
Yeah, I love
and
Mega Man.
you could take that story and give it like a modern look. You know what I would use as the like the prototype for that or the archetype for that. I would use Alita Battle Angel.
Okay.
As like that kind, and do it in that kind of style.
Yeah.
And
I hear you, man. And then I was also thinking, because one of the best games I've ever played in my life, Mass Effect.
Okay.
Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 on Xbox is one of the best games I've ever played in my life. I've never liked RPG. I've never liked like super sciencey based things. I threw myself into Mass Effect. I was Colonel Shepard or Lieutenant Shepard or Captain Shepard by the third one. All right? I was Shepard. He looked like me, and he did all the things that I would do, all the decisions I would make. I would want to see Mass Effect. I'm surprised they haven't made this into a movie just yet, and it's one of Al's biggies, Halo.
Yeah, true.
Didn't they?
No,
They were supposed to.
They've made comical movies like they've made like short like straight to DVD type movies of it.
Oh, okay.
But nothing like they made like Into the Breach where it tells a story of what happened before the first Halo game.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a true Halo movie.
I think that would be good.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I think what hurts it is that the fact that in the game they never really show the character up until just recently, but it's always just been in the gear. But that would be an interesting one to. If you want to go all the way back, if you don't mind
Bless
going
you.
all the way back,
thank you.
Spy Hunter.
Oh.
Yes.
Yo, I didn't know he was gonna say that, and I still remember the music for that
Yeah.
thing.
if you after the show, I have Spy Hunter. If y'all want to play, I'm just saying, just throwing it out there.
Is there any game for you, Sanj, that besides Castlevania that stands out that you would want to see done, or Zelda?
Metal Gear.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Metal Gear in like that like a military type like that character Snake. It was that was a great game.
Yeah.
That was a big game when I was in college, and one of my friends he loved playing that game. So I was like I would literally just sit there and watch him play the game, and it was that entertaining to sit.
That's so funny you say that. I literally bought Metal Gear Solid 4 or Metal Gear 4, and I bought it for Brandon to play, and I just watched him play for like 2 days straight, and he beat it. It was just nuts. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid.
And then,
What?
Exactly. And Metal Gear 2, you know what was funny with Metal Gear 2? The joke with Metal Gear 2, like it had so many cutscenes that like you be playing Metal Gear 2 and like somebody walks in like, "Oh, what you doing?" Watching Metal Gear 2. They're like, "You playing it?" No. Watching it.
Watching it.
Because it had so many cutscenes.
With the quick time events.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Man, anything for you, man? Any other movies or games you would want to see turn into movies?
Trying to think. No, just I was gonna say the Call of Duty games, but you could just put Call of Duty on any military movie,
Right.
And it'll basically be that. No, nothing's jumping out at me right now.
Yeah, me. I mean, I could think of some games that were really popular, like StarCraft. You know, I don't know if that would be a good movie because it was like 3 tribes.
No, that
basically.
actually would be a good movie
Right?
because if you played the game and actually watched the story, there was an interesting story back. You know,
There's
there was a good backstory to the game if you actually played the campaign. That was a good one.
There's a line of video games for back in the days for computer, PC, King's Quest, the King's Quest series.
Okay.
Oh wow!
I love those video games. Loved those
King's
video
Quest,
games.
all right.
I would love to see somebody do a movie adaptation of those movies because you could pick any one of them. There's such great story
Yeah.
there, and it could give you a few movies because like the quest that they go on, like the one King Graham like rising up from being a commoner to becoming king. And then his son, like King's Quest 6 was about his son Alexander, and like his
sounds
quest.
so freaking familiar, but I know I've played one of them, but I don't.
You played
can't
King's Quest
recall
6
them.
because you played it at my house.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm like trying to sound.
The first King's Quest was like word based.
Yeah, you type in "look under the rock," and then the character goes doot 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 doot, picks up the rock. You have found a ring.
Oh, yeah. Oh man. So there, those games. I can't think of really anything else, man, that stands out as far as game wise that was like really super popular and there's nothing after it. But
No,
yeah,
but the
King's
two, the
Quest.
Metroid and Zelda, those are the two that are just sticking out. Like, I don't know how they haven't made movies out of
Yeah,
them yet.
but you know what? I
I'm
think it's also out of fear.
I'm surprised with Mega Man also that they haven't, because it's a very likable character.
Yeah, I think it's fear, man. I think it's fear that all these movies that don't turn out well. I know Nintendo had many offers for Mario Brothers, for Zelda, for Metroid, and they turned them down because of how bad Mario Brothers went.
That's because they didn't let Disney make the movie.
Yeah.
Hail Disney.
Hell Disney. Yeah, man. That's something I think that's going to change now with Sonic. If Sonic does as good as I think it's going to do.
Well, what studio
gonna
made
change.
Sonic? Al, do you know what studio made Sonic?
It was a Sega company, but it was who was the on the main company there? Can't recall it. I'm trying to think of the
Because I mean, with the magnitude of what Super Mario Brothers is, just like how popular, I think it deserves the Disney treatment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they won't put it out if it's not right. Like
Right.
they will flesh it out till it's something that
is worth putting out there.
Is worth putting out there. And, it'll cost them a ridiculous amount of money, but I think they would make a ridiculous amount of money
right back. Yeah.
Right back.
Absolutely, man.
But it's like one of those things with, is Nintendo going to want to, give up a little control of their basically their cornerstone product?
Absolutely. Well, they have to give up something. But I think they're actually working on giving up the rights to Mario Brothers to create an animated movie. So that should be hopefully coming out soon, man. But listen, man, that's going to be the podcast for tonight, man. We wanted to talk about this Sonic movie that we all got a chance to see. Again, we highly recommend the Sonic movie. And if you guys are out there listening, if there's any if there's any video game movies that you guys want us to talk about, or maybe you have some ideas for a video game that we didn't think of or say today, send us an email, shoot us a text or anything, just to let us know what you guys are thinking out there, and we'll bring it up on the next podcast. You guys can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Our website is therealfanreview.com. Our email is therealfanreview@gmail.com. And that's going to be us for this week. So signing off from New York, we got my boy Sanj.
Good evening, everybody.
And we got my man in the chair, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
All right. Have a good night. We'll catch you on the next one. Episode 50's coming. Have a good night.